that was a really good talk by Hayley, so thank you so much. So the title of this talk is How to Live as a Highly Sensitive Person in this World, or something like that, because I haven't read it. So who would identify as a highly sensitive person? Okay, who would identify as being sensitive?
So could you say again?
Sorry, I'll speak slower. So would you identify with being a highly sensitive person?
What's the second question?
Would you identify with being sensitive? So
there's no medium.
So we have a medium. It's all good. I'm very open. So I've got no notes around me, which is unusual, because I really want, this is such a short talk, I really want to deliver what you guys want. Because I've got a breadth of knowledge, I've been a highly sensitive person all of my life. I've got a degree in psychology, so I've experienced the advantages and so-called disadvantages of being a sensitive person. And I say so-called because I've actually, if you're living the truth of who you are, if you're living your authentic self, then life is just bloody awesome. Life only turns a bit negative when you're trying to fit into something that you're not. And we've all done that. So this is why I want to give you as much benefit as possible today. So, why are you guys here? What is it you want to know? Come on, don't be shy, tell me.
Yeah, some really good tips on how to live as a highly, because they can be very difficult to filter all the things,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like for me, basically.
No, I truly get that. I understand totally.
I don't know what is a really highly sensitive person and what is just a sensitive person, because I don't know how I should identify myself. I'm not very that sensitive that I feel all the waters or something like this. I'm not like this, but I would also say that I'm not completely not sensitive. So I don't know what is a highly sensitive person.
So that's a great question, so I'm going to answer that straight away. So, this lady's already realised that she gets a lot of stimuli and she gets overwhelmed easily. Now, the scientific definition of a highly sensitive person, which I've only found out recently, because I've only decided to research it recently, is that our nervous system and our brains are actually wired differently than most people's. So about 20% of the world's population are highly sensitive people. But this is biased research because it was done in America and mainly Americans. However, I think that's probably true for the Western world, that about 20% of us are highly sensitive people. And we process more stimuli, we process more information than non-highly sensitive people. So it's a fact. I don't know how they arrived at this fact, but we have 4,000 billion pieces of information hit our senses every second. And we'll waffle that down very quickly because there's another talk about that. You can only 2 of them, 2 to 7 come into your conscious mind that you then make a conscious decision about. But actually, I believe there's a filter. Me and Dr. Bruce Lipton, who obviously is way more qualified than I am, he's the founder of epigenetics. There's a lot more information that comes into our unconscious mind. It's actually our unconscious mind. So there's 2,000 pieces of information per second that come into our unconscious mind, and our unconscious mind goes delete, 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 and it chooses 2. And your unconscious mind deletes because of your education, because of your upbringing, because of your familiar surroundings, your belief system about the world, your belief system about you. So by definition, a highly sensitive person, more information is actually coming at you than the 4 billion pieces of information to begin with. But even if that's not true, definitely more is coming into your conscious mind. And how do they know that? Because they've done brain scans, they've done MRIs on the brain, they've done functional MRIs. So they actually had people to think about things, they actually gave them stimuli. and more of the highly sensitive people, more of their brain lit up. So there's more thinking, there's more neurons firing and doing things in the brain. So a lot more information is coming at you all the time, and that can just feel tiring, right? So a true story, when I was 18, I was a professional photographer. It was my job to go and take pictures of news. Now, I was a documentary press photographer, so I used to get paid going to London quite a lot to take some pictures. I'd go into London, I'd get off the train, I'd be sick in the nearest bin. You know, I was so used to it. I used to have tissues and water, I was just ready, this was going to happen. And then, you know, I'd clean myself up, I'd go and do my job, and then I'd go back to the train station and I'd be sick again, and then I'd go home and I'd be fine. I just, as soon as going to sea, boom, it was like 1,000 billion things just hit me at once, and I just couldn't deal with it. But I loved being a photographer, so it was just part of the job, and I got paid well when I went to London. So at 18, I'm 45 now, you know, it was good money to go there and get, you know, paid in the city, and it was fun. I work in the city, you know. It sort of made you somebody, even if you wasn't. So I enjoyed that, and to me it was just part of what happened. I never questioned it. I never went to the doctor. I was just like, well, because I knew I was sensitive. I knew it had something to do with the city. I knew it had something to do with, you know, just going, ah. I lived in the country. I was the kind of kid that was always dirty, you know, because I was always climbing up a tree or playing in a river or, you know, following the rats down the stream, or, you know, all this was fun to me because this was just pure energy. This was real. This was in the moment. It was people that freaked me out, not nature or animals or anything like that. So to me, it was just so normal. I never even questioned it. But as a therapist, I started seeing people that were experiencing more overwhelm than I was, and I was like, what's going on with these people? And people always say to me, can other people read energy like you can? And I'm like, yeah, of course they can. You know, it's the most natural thing in the world. We're all born with it. And I still believe that non-highly sensitive people or highly sensitive people, it's just that because we pick up on so much stimuli and we process a lot more, like, you know, most people they have certain categories of boxes they put things in. This is how the mind works. Again, this is Western science. If you're highly sensitive, you have a box, and in that box has another 10 categories within the box. So you highly define things and you sort them out into boxes to make it easier for you to know what's going on in the world. So then you can make a decision, a safe decision, to keep your sensitive body safe and operate. Does this make sense? Okay. So a one sentence answer to your question is highly sensitive people receive more information and process more information. Okay. So your question is, so how do you deal with that in everyday life? You realise that you get overstimulated quickly. So instead of hiding away from the world and becoming a hermit, you know, if you want to do that, good luck to you. But, you know, I actually really like social interaction. I like people. I like to talk to them. That's why I became a therapist. And my sensitivity is a highly gift because I'm highly intuitive. I can look at somebody's physical body, because I was a physical therapist for a while, and say, oh yeah, you've got a left forward twist in your hip. Like, I can just look at them and know. And therefore I haven't got to do any diagnostic testing. I just go to the hip, fix it, and like, you're done. And there was a stage in my life in England where people were paying me for a treatment, and it didn't matter if that treatment took 5 seconds or an hour, they were still paying me the same amount of money. And I had a good enough reputation that people just trusted me. But I knew what I was doing, so I was okay with that. You know, and if people didn't get better, I'd give them their money back. So I had so many people coming through the door, it didn't bother me. You know, I worked really, really hard. I actually got a very muscular body because I worked very hard, and I just decided one day I didn't want to do it anymore. So, and that was the time where in my life, actually, I was going to tell you this, I sold everything I owned and I went travelling, and I spent a lot of time by myself. And all of my family were like really amazed. They was like, wow, you're spending all this time by yourself. You're such a chosen person. Like, doesn't it bother you? And I'm like, oh no, I can't believe it. I found my paradise. I lived in a van, I drove around New Zealand, and I basically only came into the city when I needed fresh water, or a town when I needed fresh water. And I was just so happy. It was one of the happiest times of my life, because there was just the right amount of stimulation coming from the right sensory purposes for me. So I'd always been somebody that spent some time on my own, but then I realised how important it was for me. So now every day I spend time by myself, and I've got a dog and I love her to bits, but sometimes I pay for my dog to be looked after, so I don't even have my dog, you know, so I have no stimulation. And I actually like that. And people used to label that as being weird and strange, but like I say, when you know your authentic self and you know what it is you need, it'd be really dumb not to take it, right? So it's about just listening. And some days you might need one thing and some days you might need another, but it's about really deeply listening. And if you're a highly sensitive person, then who here would say they have a deep inner life, which means you have a deep connection to your thoughts, your emotions, the feelings in your body, you know, your imagination. And it can be the opposite. You can be a highly sensitive person that learned to shut down early on. So shut down means you literally stopped yourself from feeling. Why? You didn't want to feel the pain. But feelings, you can't selectively feel. You can't select what feelings you feel and what feelings you don't. So if you shut down to the bad stuff, you also shut down to the good stuff. So then you might have lost that high sensitivity within yourself, within your own feelings, and yet you're still going to daydream. You're still going to have a massive imagination. You know, you're still going to wander off, or, you know, smell something, and you literally energetically transport it back to the first time you smell that smell. Does it make sense what I'm talking about? So it's really important that you listen to your own inner being, you listen to what it is that you need. And your intuition, you know, when you just feel something and there's no thoughts that go with it, do you know what I mean? That you just sense something inside of yourself, that's your intuition talking to you. The more you pay attention to that, the more you take action on that, then the stronger that relationship's going to get, just because you're paying it attention, just because you're listening. So, you know, being highly sensitive has so many gifts. Now, yes, we're different. Yes, we probably got bullied. Yes, we probably cry at a drop of a hat sometimes. But if that's who you are, that's who you are. So celebrate that. Like, I love the fact that I'm deeply moved by music, or by art, or by cake. You know, yeah. Like, there's people in this room I hang out with socially, and they've seen me cry very easily, right? Or get overexcited about something. You know, people look at me like, why are you excited? I'm like, oh, this is just so awesome. And they're like, yeah, it's alright. You know, but why do I have to change my excitement? Why do I have to hide that? So, is that helpful? Mm-hmm. So it's really, so one sentence answer, because the overstimulation, you know what's good for you and you do more of it. Promise. There's nothing else needed, you know. And if that is hard for you, if you're coming up against major blocks all the time, then, you know, that is why I created what I do. So for the last 11 years, I am a highly sensitive person. I didn't become that in the last 11 years. I became an intuitive transformational coach. So I use my intuition to help other people transform. And I became a coach rather than a psychologist, because, you know, no disrespect to anybody, but for me, psychology didn't work. You know, it took a long time. People were repeating the same things over and over again. And to be honest, I was just bored. I just didn't want to sit there listening to people talk about the same things again and again and again. And I started saying to people, you know, I'm bored of this story, you must be, you've been telling yourself your whole life. You know, some of my clients didn't like it. I worked in England, you know, and I got told off a few times by my boss. But some of the people were just like, yeah, you're absolutely right, this is really bloody boring, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, well, you know, let's go for a walk, let's do this, let's do that. You know, again, I wasn't meant to take them out of the office, I was meant to keep them in the hospital. But, you know, why not? I was a bit arrogant, I was 23 years old, you know, I just graduated, I wanted to do what I wanted to do. But I got results. And I got results because I allowed people to be who they were. I celebrated who they were rather than telling them that what they were doing was wrong. You know, if you're doing something, it might sound crazy to somebody else, but if that keeps you stable, if that keeps you grounded, if that keeps your stuff together, then carry on doing it. You know, to do something else is ridiculous if what you're doing is working. You know, let's put that on its head. You've all heard that a good definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and again and thinking you're going to get a different result when you're not. Doing the same thing is going to create the same result. That's just physics. You know, the law of cause and effect. So you can embrace your gifts, and it is hard. And I work specifically with energy. I read your energy. I find out what's going on. I ask you questions so you get your own insight into what's going on, and then we discover that and we talk about it. Because if you understand something, your left mind, your left hemisphere can be quiet, and that allows your right hemisphere to really get excited and really do what it needs to do. And then I teach you how to work with your energy, because you're going to spend, most people will see me for a coaching package of 6 sessions, so 6 hours, and I give them homework and I give them things to do, and they get a recording of the session and everything else to help the left mind be quiet enough so the right mind can do what it needs to do. But if I teach you how to work with your energy, then you've got this amazing gift that you already have as a highly sensitive person, but now you know how to use it, you know how to bring it out into the world, and you use it to your benefit, and everything just changes from that point onwards. And how do I know this? Because I've been doing it for 11 years, I've seen thousands of clients, and they've all got better. You know, so my biggest favourite story is I saw this 13-year-old boy 2 years ago, and I called him Andrew because, you know, obviously I'm not going to say his name. And he came to me with obsessive compulsive disorder. I asked him a few questions right at the beginning of the call because he lives in England and I live here now. And, you know, and I got a picture of what his OCD was. And I asked him what it meant to him. And he said, it's like a bully in my head that never shuts up. The psychologist in me said, oh yeah, he's been bullied, so, but my intuition was like, well, okay, so let's explore what this looks like, what this is for him. I said to him, are you grounded? He said, what's that mean? I said, do you feel like your feet are on the floor? And he said, no, my feet are on the floor, but I don't feel like it. So I taught him how to ground, and he instantly came up with this, he realised, I'm trying to put a long story very short, he realised that he associated the OCD as not only a bully, the way he saw the bully was a devil. So in that one session, he killed the devil. And then I forward tested it. I said to him, I was like, what are you going to do? Just if, because you know how the brain works. And I explained to him how the brain works and thought works, and thought creates echoes, which means you feel the energy of it and the thought goes round in circles. You know, this is science, you can look it up on YouTube. That, you know, if those thoughts come up again, what are you going to do about it? And he said, well, I killed the devil, haven't I? So they're probably not going to come up. And I was like, yeah, good point. But just in case they did, what would you do? And he said, well, I'll just kill it again. I was like, sorted. You're well, you know. And then half an hour after that session, his father sent me a text, and he just said he's just had a shower by himself for the first time in 6 months. I was like, yeah, time to dance around the room, you know, the happy dance. It was like, it was good stuff. And then 6 months later, he had a little bit of a wobble. So I just saw him again, you know, and that's it. You know, this kid had been ill for 4 or 5 years. He'd been diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder. He was doing 13 different rituals all day, every day. He had no friends, he wasn't socialising, he was doing poorly at school, and he's an intelligent lad. 6 months later, he's got friends, his grades have gone up, he's doing he'd done no rituals right from day one, right from the first treatment. Fast forward 2 years, he was doing very, very well. He hit puberty a month ago, and some of his OCD thoughts came back. Because puberty's hard, right? It's hard for us women, it's twice as hard for men, I believe. Because everything just changes all of a sudden. So he had a lot of anxiety around it. This kid's highly sensitive, he had a lot of anxiety around his body changing. Suddenly girls had entered his radar and it just freaked him out totally. So he talked about that, and he seemed okay. And then I saw him just Thursday morning. He'd gone to school and he had this suicidal thought, and then he'd done a ritual, because that's what he used to do with suicidal thoughts. And I got him to come on with his dad, and they was both sitting there. Because again, they're in England, I'm here. And he was like this. This 15-year-old young man was just like this. And at the end of his session, he was like this. And what his father said was he was crumpled and nobody at the start of the session. I've got the text on my phone if you want to see it. And then at the end of the session, he'd grown and become the man that he is. That's the power of working with your unconscious mind. Everything can change at a drop of a hat, because you're getting right to the source of the problem. And when we're highly sensitive, our unconscious mind is running the show. It runs the show in everybody's life, if you're highly sensitive or not. But when you're highly sensitive, you're more in tune with your unconscious mind, which means that if you've got programs that you've shut off for years and years and years, and then they suddenly start to come up again, the effect of them is much bigger, have much more impact in your life. Does this make sense? So, am I really enthusiastic about this? Absolutely, you can tell. Why? Because it works. And I've spent my whole life researching all of this, and I guarantee that this is what works. And I am so keen to spread the word and teach other people, teach how to work with your energy, because working with your energy, as well as the whole of your body, with your mind, learning how to use the energy yourself, learning how to use your unconscious mind, and you really do create the life that you love in the way that you love, as your authentic, real self, not as something else. Because everybody else is taken, there is only one you, and that's who I want to see in the world, you walking around as you. Why? Because it's going to make everyone around you happy. And who doesn't want to live in a world where everyone's happy, right? Maybe we stop doing all the negativity for the planet that we're doing, who's all a bit happier. Any questions?
Yeah, do you work in groups or one-on-ones?
I do work with groups about total transparency. It's on my website. I had nobody ever take me up on it. I teach workshops and things like that as groups, but group therapy, I've had nobody take me up on it, because a lot of the people that are interested in working with me are highly sensitive people. So they don't want to, we say in English, wash their laundry in public. They don't want to tell everyone else their story and their problems. But a lot of, some of the fun things I do is I work with people without any context, which means they don't have to tell me what's wrong. I work purely with their energy, everyone stays silent, I'm the only one that talks. I read everyone's energy, I find out what's wrong, I bring everyone through processes. And it's really hard work. I'm tired at the end of doing that, because I normally work with 8+ people at a time, but it's so much fun to see everybody change at once together and move forward. And the energy in the room is quite amazing. So, and I often do that online as well, because then highly sensitive people, they're in their own room, and I teach them how to, it's called close the room, or set the room. So you keep your energy in your room. So I'm reading everybody, but they're not reading everybody, because I done it once, and then the computer started to blow up, and I, literally, it went all funny and weird, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? And then I realised that everybody was reading everybody else's energy, and it was blowing me up, and it was blowing the computer up, and so yeah, I was like, okay, need to do that different next time. So now I help everyone set their own energy, so you're contained, because we like to feel contained, right? We like to feel happy, we like to feel safe, we like to feel contained in our energy, because you're overstimulated enough. You don't need people literally jumping into your energy field and stimulating you more. Any more questions?
Thank you.
I can feel there's questions you don't want to ask me.
I don't want to say anything more because I don't want to monopolize.
Was there anything that didn't get covered that somebody wanted to get covered? Okay. Well, I'm around if you want to talk to me. So, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.